When this episode launches, we'll be getting married in 10 days. Welcome back to another episode of Self-Dom Beautiful Humans. Today I have my lover, my partner in crime, my best friend, and my fiancé on the mic. Welcome back, your third time on the couch.
Happy to be here, baby.
So we thought we'd do a little episode about our engagement that happened on the weekend. A little recap. Last Saturday, we had a self-dom mini retreat in the Hawkesbury. It was beautiful. The weather was on. The girls were on. The food was incredible. We did Pilates, breath work, hypnosis. We learned how to do a lymphatic massage on our face. And yeah, it was probably my favorite event to date. It just went really smoothly.
I had during that breathwork session when I was talking to everybody, I went to do like tell them a story about a river, and I was like, imagine a river, and then I realized that there's a huge Hawkesbury River floating behind me. I was like, oh, just look at that river over there.
Yeah, I noticed that. It was so beautiful. I've put some content up on my personal account and Self-Dom, so make sure you check it out. And if you want early access to the events, because I know they sell out super quickly, follow my broadcast channel on my Dominica Lisa page. And yeah, you get early access to all the things. But yeah, so we had the event, and then Tom had a little surprise up his sleeve.
A little something in my pocket.
A little something. So we got asked a bunch of questions from you guys. So we're going to answer them. We'll dive into the engagement, what happened, when's the wedding, all the things. So let's see, where should we start? Can you just tell the whole story and not spare a single detail?
About the engagement.
Yeah, you go.
So like Dom was saying, we had the event in the Hawkesbury, and the engagement, I had actually planned to do it at a later date, and it got brought forward. And so I thought that it was a really, the spontaneity of it was going to create the surprise, but apparently Dom reckons she knew it was
not a surprise.
I think she
we'll
was
get
surprised.
into the details.
But the way that I did it allowed for the surprise element as well. So she still did the crying and the excitement of it all. But
it allowed me to not have my outfit ready, to forget shampoo and conditioner and face wash.
yeah, she's getting ready for the engagement, and I can hear her in the bathroom going, "I can't find the shampoo. This is a disaster. Where's my makeup wipes?"
So we'll start from the start.
So basically, I reached out to Dom's parents quite a while ago, probably about a year ago. And I wasn't reaching out to say I want to marry your daughter tomorrow, but I wanted to say to them, I'm planning on marrying your daughter, and I want to spend the rest of my life with her. I wanted to get their blessing. So I reached out to them about a year ago, and they said, Tom would absolutely love you to be our son-in-law, and we want nothing more. If you drop a knee tomorrow, Dom will probably say no. So just
They knew at my brother's wedding, when my brother's wife threw the bouquet, I ran away.
Yeah. And I was fine with that. I wasn't in any rush. I just wanted to let them know.
There was a few times I thought you were going to propose super early on, like 3 months in, and I was so nervous.
Yeah. So basically, they said we'd love that. And the mum said, hey, Dom's great-grandmother has left her this ring, and so we'll hold it safekeepings and you let us know when you want it. And so then in January this year, I said, I'm ready, let's do it. And Odile said, let me grab you the ring. And so I already had the ring handy. And then after the event finished.
No, you're missing an important part.
What's that?
So it was Friday, Valentine's Day, and I went to visit my mum at the hospital, and I walk in and Tom was there holding her hand crying. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? And
Dom goes, are you okay? And I go, I just love your mum so much. And then
sad.
It
was sad, but so beautiful. But then when I was in the car driving home, Tom calls me. So it's Friday. We've got to leave at 5:30 in the morning, Saturday, for our event. He goes, why don't we go away for the weekend after the event? It's Valentine's Day. We're not doing anything. You know, we're in the Hawkesbury anyway. And at first I was thinking, where are we going to stay? It's not even, we don't even have 24 hours before check-in. And Tom's like such a perfectionist with Airbnbs. He always nails it. And then he's like, leave it with me. And I was driving and I remember going to Orange where I go get the lymphatic roll and I go to Abby, I think Tom's proposing this weekend. Like I knew straight away after seeing him with my mom, him being like, let's go away for the weekend. So yes, then that's an important part of the story.
And then Dom comes home and sees my computer and there's like 45 Airbnb tabs open. And there wasn't honestly, because of the shape of the Hawkesbury, there's access highways to each part's completely separate, right? You want to go to a different part of the Hawkesbury, you basically drive in through Sydney, then back out again. And so the section that we were in, there was nothing. And there was one spot that just looked so perfect. I was looking at it and I was like, oh my God, it's beautiful and so cute. And at the same time, I'd also reached out to a couple of Dom's best friends, Jess and Cuz, who do photo and video. And I said, guys, are you free on Saturday? I think I'm going to drop the knee after the event that they were already shooting. So it just made everything line up nicely. They go, yes, we'll absolutely be there. Then Jess sent me the link to that same Airbnb and I was like, yep, done.
Wait, did she?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so she was looking as well.
She was looking as well.
Oh.
And then, so we were at the event together. Jess and Cuz were there and everyone's keeping their game face on, like not giving away any hints that the proposal was going down. And then the event finished. And Jess and Cuz took off to the Airbnb. They were doing a recce to go and check the location out.
Get the lighting right.
And then they sent me a photo of Cuz down on one knee in the spot where they were like, Tom, this is the location. The lighting's perfect. You got the archway doors behind you. So I had the location all mapped out.
But then it was so funny because like Tom did everything for the cleanup of this event. Like this is a big event. There's 50 mats, there's food, there's this. Like he did everything. And he obviously did everything because we had to get on the road and we were already behind schedule. And he's like, you know, why don't we just get Uber Eats food, like groceries to the Airbnb because we're going to cook up at the house. And I said to him, no, I love doing the grocery shop. That's my favorite thing to do. So then we had to detour like an hour and a half to get groceries, get back. And then he's like, let's get really dressed up for dinner tonight, like at the house. That is the most un-Tom thing I've ever heard. He's such a casual guy. Like we're there with Crumble. He's like, just wear something really nice. He'd warned me the night before to pack a nice outfit. And so, yeah, as we said, I was getting ready. There was no shampoo and conditioner. I was like, oh my God, my hair is feral from the event.
The reason why I wanted to Uber Eats groceries is because the photographer and videographer were sitting there in the bush, right?
And Cuz needed to be.
They'd been there since the event finished. So adding an extra hour and a half, I was like, oh, okay, no worries. And
you actually handled it well.
And Jess and Dom have each other's locations. So Jess was watching us like detour around the Hawkesbury past the Woolworths. Like, yeah, no worries, take your time. And then... So there, I get a message from Cuz and he goes, when you get to the fork in the road, go left. And that was like an hour and a half before we get there. And so then the message had gone to the back of my mind. And then we pull up to the Airbnb and the Google Maps is saying turn right here. And so I just turned right here. And as I turned right, I was like, oh my God, that was the fork in the road. And then I see a white car, Jess and Cuz's car on the left-hand side. And I see these two faces and their eyes just exploded. And then like Dom's trying to like get up content for a self-dom event. And I'm like, oh my God, please don't look left. Please don't look left. And they're sitting in her car. Then we've got to do a U-turn to drive back around them to go the right way. So I do this big, slow U-turn like, oh my God, please, Jess and Cuz, like, you know, disappear. And then as we drove back past them, I looked across at their car and they were just completely gone. They must have been like cuddled over around the accelerator, like hiding. And then we get to the place. Dom loves it. We pull up and she's like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. I love it. This is amazing. It felt so nice to see her reaction to it. And then, yeah, I said, let's get dressed up so we can take some film photos.
And I was starving at this point too.
And make it a nice night because Valentine's Day we were both just so busy. And
I kept saying, can you make a snack board? Can you?
Yeah. And then like I was still messaging Jess and Cuz. They needed to set cameras up. They wanted to put a lapel microphone on me. So Dom hops into the bathroom and I go to message Jess and Cuz, and then she starts yelling out, I've got no shampoo, I've got no this. And I'm like, Jess and Cuz, quick, they're like, set the cameras up now. And so Dom's having a shower and they're putting a tripod underneath a tree, getting the iPhone set up. They give me a lapel microphone that I put in my pocket. And then Dom comes out of the bathroom and started getting ready.
Yeah, and then he's like, I want to do a film photo shoot with you.
Yeah.
It's also very unlike Tom to say. So he gets me to sit down, takes a photo of me, and then he goes, wait a minute, and then walks around, and the big barn gates are closed. And then he opens the barn gates. The gate gets stuck on one of his bags, which just like ruined the moment a bit. No, I'm kidding. It was so cute. And then he just like drops a knee and starts, telling me how much he loves me, and then asked me to marry him. And while he's talking to me, I noticed there's a lapel mic on his shirt, and I was like, what? And the next thing I know, Crumble's barking, and I look up and I see Jess and Cuz there, and I just start bawling, like, because of the thought that Tom had put in so last minute to make it perfect, so last minute. It was actually insane. And yeah, it's definitely like the most happy we've ever been. And I have to say, like, there was not a moment of self-doubt. There was no moment of like, this isn't right. It just felt so right, which was so special, because I did always think I would be that what if person, like, oh, how can you know for sure? So yeah, it was pretty special.
It was so funny when I was down on one knee and Jess and Cuz come out of the bush and Crumble runs up to him barking, and you can see like they're like, oh shit, Crumble, it's just us, don't bite me.
They weren't worried.
No, they weren't worried. It was just hilarious that he just like really went in like, rah, 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 rah.
Yeah, because you're so protective of us.
Yeah, he's looking out. He's looking out.
I mean, he barks at anyone who comes over.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the full story. No details missed. How did he know when was the perfect time in your relationship to take that next step?
So I was ready pretty early. I just knew. I knew from the moment that I met Dom that she was really, really special, and that I had to nurture this opportunity. And it's a thing that as you get a little bit older as a guy, you start to realize the importance of nurturing certain things, right? Maybe if I was 25 and I was still having fun, going out and partying, I wouldn't have really nurtured our relationship like I did. But I knew the first 3 to 6 months were just unbelievable, unlike anything I'd ever experienced in my entire life. And then we went through a couple of hurdles, which then made us even stronger. And it just solidified my knowing that it was going to be right. And I could feel a shift over the past, 6 months, where I could tell that Dom had fallen into a place of, I'm ready, this feels right. And I reckon that at any point over the last 4 or 5 months, I could have dropped a knee and Dom would have just been like, absolutely, yes, let's do it. Maybe 8 months to a year ago, she would have been like, oh my God, it's still too soon. So I could just feel the energy.
Yeah, I feel the shift for sure. I think we had to go through hard stuff, actually. That was the only way we could build the relationship to be where it is now, because now our communication's really strong. Now we've been through hard stuff, so it just feels like a more mature relationship.
Yeah, there's one thing that Dom does, which I can't stress enough, the importance for a relationship is that communication. If something doesn't feel right, she will sit down and talk about it until the solution. And I've become a really good communicator as well. We'll talk about it until we find a solution, we see each other's point of view, and then we move forward stronger with clarity. Whereas maybe in previous relationships, if someone's doing something that is getting on the nerves of somebody else, you might just deal with it until it pushes you too much, where you're like, oh my God, why do you keep doing this? And have like that explosion that can lead to like toxicity and saying things that you'll probably later regret and that will stick with the person. So our disagreements are always resolved with good communication and respect, rather than letting something build up and then saying silly stuff, which I think is really important and a great lesson to take out of, because I know the communication's hard. If something's not that big of an issue, it's hard to bring it up and talk about it, but it has made a huge difference in our relationship.
All right, next one is, when do you think you'll get married?
You can start that one off.
So when this episode launches, which will be Monday, we'll be getting married in 10 days. from that episode. I'm not going to say where. We'll leave some things for a bit of a surprise. But yeah, this will just be our legal wedding with our just family. Our families have actually never met before, so they'll be meeting for the first time at our wedding, which is just crazy. I've also never, I wouldn't say I'm one of those girls with the Pinterest board and the this and I know what I want. Like, I'm kind of really doing something I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm hoping it all works out. And so far, so good. I'm trying on my dress on Wednesday.
We had the celebrant send us.
Oh, that was fun.
We had the celebrant send us the questionnaire of things that, she can add into her talk when she's marrying us. And it was hilarious. We're just sitting on the couch opposite each other. And the questions were like, who instigated the first date? How did you feel about it? And what happened after that? And it was like you're reliving all of your memories together. And, you're not telling each other what you're writing because you want it to be a surprise. But every minute, I'll just hear Dom go like, and just start typing something funny that she'd remembered, which was a really special moment.
I think also it was cute. We were sitting on each end of the couch and we've both had such a busy week. I went to Melbourne and Queensland. You were in Melbourne for a shoot for 2 days. So we have hardly seen each other. He gets back. He's tired. He's had like a 4 a.m. call time. And we're just like, it's so soon that we just have to do these things. But we just did it. And we sat there for 2 hours.
Yeah, Dom raced through it.
No.
And then she's like, finished. How far along are you? And I was like 25% of the way in. I was like, I got a bit more to go.
I'm so happy that we did it at the same time because it made me go back and write more. Tom would have written like 4 times the amount of stuff than me. But it's been a really fun experience so far with that. However, the wedding stuff has been quite stressful, even for an intimate family wedding. So I cannot even imagine in the future when we do have that big friend party, that will also be very stressful. So yeah, it's almost too soon that we can't stress too much.
I like that it's that quickly. I think it's like people with weddings, and I'm down for whatever in the future. We have a party with our friends in the future. It sounds amazing to me. But there's I see people go through a lot of shit preparing for their wedding, and it seems like it's very, very high stress for ages. The build up, even just mentally, like, oh, hope everything goes right. And now we're knocking this small, intimate family one out in a couple of weeks. I think it's going to work in our favor.
We're definitely still going to have a party with all our friends. Yeah, for sure. Because I really want to have a hens. I want to have those moments.
She wants to get the male strippers down.
No, I just want to have those moments. I don't want them taken away from me. You know how important that is.
Of course, baby.
But obviously with the circumstances and life, I think it's very important that our families meet in 10 days.
How special. I can't wait. My mum's so excited. Here's a bit more of the engagement chat. When we... after I proposed.
Wait, there's a question that might link to this.
Oh, is there?
Who was your favorite reaction from when you announced and why?
So we started FaceTiming the sort of immediate family and a couple of friends shortly after. And one of the things which we did was screenshot everybody's facial reaction. Like Dom would just hold the ring up to the screen and you just, that uncontrollable movement of the face when you just have an abundance of emotions about to come out. And it was, all the screenshots are so funny. We've got a little collage of them. Favorite?
My mum.
Yeah, mum was so beautiful.
My mum, because she's in hospital and it was just so special.
Yeah. They all had their own unique reactions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like my sister and my mum.
Morales was pretty good. She was spinning.
Yeah, that was
in
beautiful.
circles.
My sister and my mum are, they will cry at not anything, but they're quite emotional people. And so they just both burst out crying. Mum was like, I can't hold the camera up to my face. I don't want you to see me like this. And my mum, we need that screenshot. Look at me.
I know. And then she went and put her makeup on.
Yeah. My dad also was like, my dad constantly jokes around. And so he was like, we got something to tell you. And he was like, he knew what it was. And he's like, oh, what, you got another dog? And then was like, hold on, I got to reverse my car into this spot. And we were like, you're such a dick.
All right, this one's quite interesting. Mm-hmm. Have you ever been attracted to others whilst in a relationship?
I mean, not with any sort of, you can find someone attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find people.
And
It's
I'm like staring at him.
Daniel behind the camera, there's a sexy looking man. Doesn't mean that there's any level of depth to the attraction. So, no, I mean,
Yeah, I found people good looking, but I always tell Tom that I literally would pick him over every single human on this earth.
yeah. And also, when you see someone who's right now, I'm just taking on the physical attraction point of it. There's so many layers of depth that come with a relationship that it's like someone can be hot, but how long do you want to spend with that person? Yeah, and so I guess the real answer is no. There's not anyone who I've ever gone, or there's never been anyone that I've gone, oh, I want to spend more time with that person. Not by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. Did you guys talk about a timeline for getting engaged?
We kind of chatted more about kids than about marriage.
That's what I think. We didn't really talk about marriage.
Yeah. And you've been pretty good. I feel like when we first sort of met, you said, yeah, in about 3 years. And then last year, you were like, yep, in about 2 years. And this year, you're like, yep, probably looking at next year. So you've been pretty consistent with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me personally, I don't really care when it happens. I don't care if it's tomorrow or in, I think the
kids or engaged. We're talking about the engagement though. Oh, she said, did you guys talk about the timeline for getting engaged?
Not really, no.
No, we didn't.
No.
But you just know.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you about alcohol. So I think it's quite interesting that, we've decided I don't drink this year, you're not drinking in Sydney. Usually it's quite habitual to have a champagne or something like that when you get engaged. But we just had kombucha in a wine glass and it was a pretty special night still. Didn't need it.
Yeah, didn't need it. I mean, I think I've just done my dash with using alcohol as a way to celebrate. Yeah. You put kombucha into a wine glass, have a cheers, get cozy. And those moments where you can wake up the next morning and go for a sunrise walk and feel really fresh. I honestly think that a huge foundation of the way our relationship is really healthy is because we don't go and put stuff into our body that makes us have a shorter temper or, be more reactive or say things without thinking about it. But it's just become a big foundation of our relationship. I actually had a friend of mine call me yesterday and say, mate, what are you doing tonight? And I was like, oh, I'm hanging out with Dom tonight, buddy. But I'll be around tomorrow if you want to hang out. And he goes, oh man, he goes, I wanted to go for a beer, but you don't really drink much, do you? I go, oh, I'm not drinking in Sydney this year, mate. A couple of trips planned, like Europe and a golf trip with my dad and with my friends, which I'm going to get a bit loose on, but I'm not in Sydney. And he goes, man, I keep losing all my drinking friends.
Oh, no.
I've just lost 2 people in the past week, have moved back overseas, and you and the other boys aren't really drinking. And I feel like it's a really massive shift in general across the around here anyway, I think everywhere.
No, they had a statistic that in 2020, 30% of young people said they didn't drink. In 2024, 43% of young people don't drink.
Can I just say that I've been doing no alcohol stints since about 2017, about maybe in 2016. Probably started off with 3 months. The next year was 4 months. The next year was 6 months. And it is, I don't know if it's just me in my friendship circles, but I feel like it's getting easier and easier because a lot of people are falling into that same sort of alignment. So if you're a person that's thinking about having a break from alcohol, there is no better time than right now. It is so on trend that you will find people around you that are also on that boat and will be super happy to go for a walk or have a kombucha or play Monopoly Deal. But honestly, it's easier now than ever.
Yeah. Well, I want to add one more thing with the alcohol is that I keep saying we should host a party for the community that's sober. DJ, maybe a drink, non-alcoholic sponsor, like dancing. Because that's the one thing I miss not drinking is like going out and dancing.
Yeah, ecstatic dance party.
Yeah. So yeah, let us know. I've had a few people reach out, not enough, but I need a few more, and maybe we'll tee something up because I really think that would be so much fun.
Yeah. I reckon if you leave a comment below, we'll make sure you find out first about the ecstatic dance.
Yeah.
Launch day.
Yeah. Epic.
Epic. It's mushrooms only, all right?
No.
I'm joking. I'm just joking.
One thing I also wanted to talk about with the engagement was last year for my birthday, we went away, and Tom knows my favorite thing in the world is just being with him and Crumble in an Airbnb, going for walks, cooking dinners. Like
When it's our time, it's our time.
it's our time. Like I'm really conscious of it because even though we live together and now we work together a lot, it's not like conscious time together.
Your biggest
My love language
is quality time.
Yeah, it's like major. So for my birthday last year, I remember it was pre-fashion week. I was very stressed. We went away and we had such a beautiful first night, and it takes me like 24 hours to get into a relaxed space. And then Tom surprised me and took me to Bert's, which is where we had our first date, and my whole family was sitting there. And I remember feeling this like sadness because I just wanted to be with Tom, which is so terrible.
Well, you love family
I
time
love family
when it's
time.
family time.
But I think because I just in my head expected it to be us, and I was actually really upset about it. But I thought about it after, and it's been good because you knew for the engagement, I didn't want my friends and family hiding in the bushes and saying surprise. I just wanted that 48 hours for us, and I'm so grateful that that's how it was. Like, and the Hawkesbury, there is nothing to do apart from go for walks and cook food. And yeah, even the grocery stores were not very nice.
Yeah, I'm a quick learner.
We got some potatoes that had mold all over them.
Yeah,
And yeah, it was just the perfect. He just knew that I didn't want people around because I know some people, they want everyone around. Like, we're not going to do an engagement party. That's not even been on the cards for us.
Yeah, maybe at some point we'll have
We're getting married.
We'll have a couple of parties in the future, whatever labels they get.
No, there'll be a wedding more.
Yeah, there'll be a wedding.
Unlimited.
We'll have an anniversary in Europe every year.
I keep saying.
What?
I don't forget anything. So now we get to do that.
Yeah.
Every month, every year.
Daniel, you're coming.
Daniel, you're coming. The one thing I wanted to touch on lastly was this feeling of such a high with such a low in my life right now. And I think that's what's solidified everything with you and me feeling so sure about you, is because this has been the hardest few months of my life and you've been nothing but amazing. And even when I'm up to here and you say one thing and I boil over, you just have a way of staying so calm, so collected, and just able to make everything simple terms. And our thing is always, when we were in Europe last year, I'd say, oh, no problemo. And you'd say, no problemo.
Hey, baby, it's a no problemo.
And it's always no problemo with you. And I think that essence of you is why you make my life so much better, because you make even the hard things feel not so hard, and always just a no problemo. You never say problemo.
Thank you, baby. It's really nice of you to say. I just wanted to say that I'm so grateful that I have you in my life. I never ever expected to find this kind of love that's so pure and so healthy, and I can see a life with Dom that I don't feel any pressure about the engagement. I am so happy, so content, but also so excited about the next chapters. I can't wait to have little babies with you and see you as a mum. Expand our family with Crumble as our first child. And I'm just grateful for you, baby, and really excited.
Yeah, so that's it from us. Stay tuned. The wedding will be in 10 days. So yeah, a lot to do until then. But I'm okay.
Baby, it's a no problemo.